Hey, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today I want to do a follow-up on a piece I did last week. So that video I talked about the bottlenecks in electric vehicle battery production. I want to kind of follow on with that because there's a new survey out from, what's the name of the company? Voltaic. Anyway, this company, they're a kind of a battery, I don't know, analytics company. I don't know what they do, but you'll see a link. There's a link down here, and I'll show you quickly some of their release and stuff. I'll post it up here too. Well, I'm just gonna post the release up there. How's that? The release right there. Okay, because I'm professional. I pre-plan all this stuff. Anyway, long story short, there are a lot of things that impede battery development. The survey was conducted the first quarter of this year, so that would be January, February, March. It polled professionals from several different industry segments having to do with battery electric cars, battery cell producers, battery pack and component developers, academics, and national labs, and as well as companies involved in the transportation, consumer electronics, and energy storage. Spaces, that's the way to say it now. You don't say lines of work or markets. You say spaces. Yeah, I'm hip with the new lingo going on. Anyway, most of the responses were North America, so they were from this area. There were also some responses from groups in Europe, Japan, etc. And what they found is that they have a lot of concerns about getting next generation batteries out there. Before we go any further, I got a joke. The first one was, the top concern, of course, was time to market. That's a pretty top concern no matter what the new business might be. So if it's a newer business model, it's a new technology, then the time to market is always the big thing. The next big concern was reliability. And that's because these companies are expected to produce better batteries that are just as good in terms of reliability as current, and at least just as good, preferably better. Quality was a big problem. Project return on investment is a problem, and cost of project, which ties in with that. Most of them are expecting their battery projects to be 3 to 5 years out for the most part. Some of them a little less than that. Some of them are more in the 1 to 3. Some are more than 5 years. You'll see a chart showing that. So here's your chart. That's what I'm drawing that information from. A more interesting chart for what I'm talking about today and following up from with last week is this chart. This shows the top 10 bottlenecks. There you go. Top 10 bottlenecks in battery workflow. Too many projects, not enough resources, common issue in R&D. Not enough battery engineers. That's kind of a big one. Kind of surprising, honestly. But there are just not enough people with expertise. The amount of time required to estimate battery life, big one. Also, too many battery vendors to evaluate. That's kind of a dumb issue, but honestly, there are so many jumping into this space. I use the word again. So many jumping into this space that to evaluate every single one of them to figure out who's got the best for what you need is becoming a big issue. That'll resolve itself over time. It always does. The little ones get absorbed by the bigger ones, or they just disappear altogether. Something like that. Too many battery materials. That's another big one. There are so many different ways of making these batteries now that there are just a lot of options. Everybody's experimenting with something, and low quality battery data. So I want to talk about that because the data is another big issue. it's a time sink for these companies, for these people being surveyed. About a third of respondents spend 1 to 5 hours a week looking for and preparing data before it's even analyzed. So that's just finding the data and compiling it. Engineers and scientists are devoting a huge chunk of their time to this. 2/3 of managers and directors are also putting time into this. More than a third of them do more than 6 hours a week. That's a huge time sink. That's a lot. That means that there is no consensus on expected data, and that the data is disparate. It is not in one spot. It's hard. You have to go hunting for it and pull it together. Data volume is only going to grow. So this is another issue respondents have talked about in this survey. About 68% of them said the volume of battery data will at least double in the next 5 years, which you can expect to mean that that time sink of data crunching or data gathering is going to only get bigger before it gets better. Many believe that it's going to grow more than 5 times in that time. About a third of them respondents said that. And the challenges of pulling insights from that are huge. So this is just following up. You can take the survey for what you think of it. Again, the link for the survey, if you want to go see what's available to the public, it's below. I saw a little more than that because, media. But I'm not allowed to show you that part. But this will give you the gist of it from that link down there. These charts will go a long way towards explaining what was found. So, feel free to move the video back and forth to see those charts. I'm going to make them as big as possible in the space wall. Because I know, you don't want to cover up my face. I'm too pretty for that. So anyway, that's what I got. That's this video. I've got some more coming. Lots of great questions I got to answer and things like that. So there you go. Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com. Talk to you again soon.